who's actually getting the most out of a 50-inch deck shell for a Cub Cadet yard tractor, and who would be better off putting their money toward a new mower altogether. If you're sitting on the fence wondering whether swapping out the deck on your existing LT 1050 or SLT 1550 is a smart move or just a pricey way to chase a greener lawn, let's break that down. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the hesitation most buyers feel comes from two angles. One is the fear of a "don't buy this if I wouldn't need it" scenario. You've already got a mower that cuts, you're not planning any major upgrades, and you're wondering if a new deck will actually change anything. The other is the risk of incompatibility. The Cub Cadet 9830407B4021 is marketed as a direct replacement for older part numbers, but those numbers only matter if you own the exact model they're built for. If the paperwork in your tractor's manual doesn't line up, you could end up with a deck that won't bolt on correctly, leaving you with a partially installed, unusable piece of metal. In real life, the deck's biggest selling point is the 50-inch cutting width. For someone who tends to mow a quarter acre or larger and has a standard 4-foot grass height, that extra 8 inches can shave off at least 5 minutes of work per pass. Imagine a Saturday morning where you're trying to get the whole front yard done before the kids head out to soccer. With a smaller 42-inch deck, you'd need about 12 passes. The 50-inch version drops you to 9. That's a tangible time saver, especially when you're juggling chores. If your property is under half an acre, the difference is less dramatic, maybe a minute or two per mowing session, so the value proposition fades. Now, who should be buying this deck? The sweet spot is anyone who already owns a Cub Cadet LT 1050 or SLT 1550 and feels the current deck is either worn out or just not cutting wide enough for their yard size. Those tractors are well known for their robust engines and comfortable riding positions, so letting the deck become the limiting factor makes sense. If you've been maintaining the deck with regular blade changes and occasional cleaning but notice uneven cut lines or missed patches, the new deck can restore that factory fresh performance. Also, hobbyist landscapers who run multiple mowing routes on a single machine will notice the mileage saved when the deck keeps a consistent cut across varied terrain. On the flip side, if you're a homeowner with a small, well-maintained lawn, or you're already planning to upgrade to a newer mower with advanced features like a hydrostatic drive or a cutting deck that folds for storage, the 50-inch shell may feel like an unnecessary expense. Likewise, anyone without a Cub Cadet LT model, say, a user of the newer ZT models or a completely different brand, should skip this part. The product description makes it clear that it's a direct replacement for specific older part numbers. Trying to shoehorn it onto a non-compatible machine will lead to frustration and potentially damage the tractor's drivetrain if the deck isn't properly balanced. Practical strength surface once the deck is on the tractor. The cutting width is, of course, the headline, but the way the deck distributes weight also matters. Users report that the 9830407B4021 feels slightly heavier than the standard 42-inch kit, which translates to better traction on hills and a more stable ride when mowing at higher speeds. In my experience, that extra weight helps the mower maintain a consistent depth of cut without having to constantly adjust throttle. The underside of the deck has been designed to accommodate the same standard Cub Cadet blade set, so you don't have to hunt for a special blade, just drop in the one you already keep on hand. That continuity saves time and eliminates the guesswork of matching blade thickness to deck size. However, there are trade-offs. The larger deck does increase fuel consumption modestly. A full tank of gasoline that might have taken you 3.5 hours to mow a medium lawn with a 42-inch deck could shrink to around 3 hours once you start pulling that extra 8 inches of turf. For most owners, the difference is negligible, but if you're looking at fuel costs over a year, it adds up. The deck also raises the overall height of the mower, which can be an issue when storing the tractor in a small garage or under a low shed roof. You'll need a little more vertical clearance, and the extra girth may make navigating tight spaces around garden beds a bit more cumbersome. Another practical consideration is the assembly process. Though the manufacturer lists the part as a direct replacement, the actual installation isn't just a simple click-in. It involves disconnecting the power takeoff, lifting the old deck, aligning the new frame, and torquing the bolts to the correct specification. For a weekend DIYer comfortable with basic hand tools, that's doable. But if you've never swapped a mower deck before, you may need to invest a few hours watching tutorial videos.